Right before I delivered them, I knew that was my last time being three of us. And I had to process, now what? Because now I have a baby that has died, and I have one that's alive, so I have to plan for a funeral after delivery, and I need to plan for a baby after delivery. I laid him in my arms and cradled him like a baby, and I saw his whole entire face without the ventilator, and he was breathtaking. And he lived for about 10 minutes after they took his ventilator out. That was the hardest 10 minutes of my life. And he died. And I died. A little bit, a lot in that moment.
I don't know that there are sufficient words to describe the trauma. The kids, we had done a little video. I was pregnant and the kids were talking to her in my belly. They were saying, come out, sister, come and play with us. It was a traumatic birth for both of us. And the aftermath was certainly traumatic because I left the hospital without her. The car seat was in the car, her nursery was ready, and we were all prepared for a baby, and we didn't get to bring her home.
We were almost all the way across, and my daughter started screaming, and I turned this way, and the car is hitting her. Zadi's hand went out from underneath us, and my daughter and I fell off of the car, and I ran around to find my son, and he was right underneath her back tire. And then we got to the hospital. They cut off his Batman suit. They told me that his head had basically disconnected from getting run over. And he tried, his little body tried. He tried so hard. But eventually his heart rate just started going down. It just couldn't. His body couldn't live through it anymore. I just wanted hope so bad. I wanted a miracle so bad. I mean, I know there was nothing else I could have done. I know it's not my fault. But my job is to protect him. I'm his mom, and I didn't.
After the boys died, I didn't have any support. Really, I didn't have any support. And by that point, I was a hot mess. I was really, honestly, doing some serious damage to myself. I will die if I don't get help. I'm going to die. And if I die, Sam and Gabe die again. Because nobody knows them or loves them as much as I do. And if I die, where are they in the world?
And all I needed in that moment was someone to love me through it. And people loved me, but they didn't know how to love my pain. And my oldest one was very quiet about it. He knew that things had changed, and I might not have changed so dramatically if I had a good support system. And I think that's the key. And that's why I wanted to do the work, because I recognized that I couldn't be there for my children if someone wasn't there for me.
Prior to the kid's second birthday, I had a friend who reached out to me through social media. So she mentioned the Miss Foundation. And we are all parents who have lost our children. The very next day, I reached out to Dr. Joanne Cacciatore from the Miss Foundation. I sent her an email. She said, there is a support group tonight in this location. Please try to make it there. I was terrified. Oh my gosh. I was so scared to go to my first support group. I started listening to everybody's story and I thought, wow, they're just like me. And everything that I'm feeling is normal. I'm not going crazy. I'm not losing my mind. This is part of the grieving process. hello grieving process. I didn't know anything about it before. And I fell in love with the Miss Foundation because there I had people who got me. And those people in the foundation acknowledged that my children were real and they existed. And they started to love me and my kids.
But it was a time to go really deeply into the grief and to work through the grief and sit with the grief and think about it. And I think it was one of the best things we could have done. It gave me tools that I didn't recognize that I needed. And she encouraged us to cry. And she talked about how our grief is equal to our love. And my love is pretty big, so my grief's gonna be pretty big, and I don't need to run and hide from it. So Dr. Cacciatore somehow manages to always be available to offer this compassion. I see her as somebody who's working hard to make a difference. How we can continue to live a life of meaning even without our children. You know, I see her as somebody who is thriving and knowing that she is this many years out after losing her daughter. I know that even though my grief will never ever go away, I'll be stronger at carrying it, and that I'll be able to thrive as well.
Because most everyone else is running the opposite direction. And I'm running toward them. And they're very grateful to have someone who will stay with them and bear witness to their suffering. I want to be able to do this work until I die. I can't imagine doing anything else. There's no more rewarding work than this work. Nothing is as rewarding as this is, as painful as it is. So the Miss Foundation is an international nonprofit organization. I started 20 years ago this year. And, you know, and I think people who do this work, I don't think it's a choice. I think you're called to it.
And I don't want anybody to be alone like I was alone. So I decided it was time for me to turn outward and help other people. And to become a mentor, it gave me a purpose again. It made me feel like a somebody instead of a nothing. I needed that purpose, and it was such a valuable purpose to help others.
Incredibly strong friendships are forged through this program, and it really does give an opportunity for the person who was once helped to become the helper. In a sense, a way to honor their child by extending their love and their hand to someone else who's in the same place they were years ago. And we have a whole community of people. You know, we have incredible volunteers, people whose children have also died, who are willing to say, I will give back. Through my broken heart, I will give back and I will help someone else. I mean, what an incredible legacy their children all leave because of that. I mean, it doesn't get better than that, does it?